The second trait of entrepreneurs who create a good level of success is accountability. I made my first ever habit tracker around that same period that we're talking about when I started to become an entrepreneur in 2019, early 2020. I made my first ever habit tracker. I had a couple of basic self-improvement habits, meditation and gratitude. And then I also had a couple of habits in terms of working. I think I literally just had the block for like work, for example. I made this habit tracker. I'm going to stick to it. This is the new me. I'm on self-improvement now. It's all going to be good. I smoke weed, ate sugar. Those were part of my habits as well, actually. And I come back the next day. Here's the habits that I'm supposed to hold myself accountable to. For the box of didn't smoke weed, I tick it anyway. For the box of no sugar, I ticked it anyway. I came to my own habit tracker and lied in there. I felt like a little bit of shame whilst I did it, and I can't even logically explain to you why I would have done that. It's just that there is a fear and a pain to hold yourself accountable. Now, if you can relate to that, maybe you haven't done the exact same thing, but you can relate to this, this feeling of almost wanting to forget the time that you failed. That's actually a really bad thing. You want to know from what I've learned about myself, but also from other like high level guys like Eman, Chris Williamson, Ali Abdal, some guys that I've been able to network with. When they experience some kind of failure, they actually hold themselves accountable to feel it and to be introspective about it. What I've found from broke people, from low tier people, when they mess up, they quickly hide it from their consciousness. So imagine the fat piece of shit breaks his diet, eats some junk food, and then pretty much forgets it straight away. And so he doesn't feel totally introspective about it. But the intelligent guy, when he eats something he's not supposed to, he could go to an extreme level and literally start journaling. Why did I eat that? Imagine that level of accountability. You mess up on your goals and you literally open up your journal and ask yourself, why did I do that? Have you ever tried this before? The next time you mess up on your goals, the next time you mess up on the habits, literally open up your journal and just ask yourself the question, why did I do that? It will feel a little bit painful to admit it, especially if it's a sensitive topic, like it's watching porn, for example. But if you asked yourself the question, why did I just relapse even though I didn't want to? Instead of you just saying oh, well, it's day 0 and, I'll still try and get to day 90. If you really hold yourself accountable and say, I failed my goal yesterday, why? I think you'll be a lot less likely to fail the goal again. Making habit trackers, putting them up on your wall is a fantastic way to hold yourself accountable. In fact, the way that I hold myself accountable, you can't see too much. This is just pages from a calendar just to kind of remind me of where we are in the year. But a lot of my wallpapers here, I'll show you very quickly because I've never really shown them before. See that? So I've got them all. Maybe one day I'll walk you through exactly what I've got up there. But a lot of my papers on there hold me accountable to my goals, to my habits. And I think accountability is a very important part because I didn't make any real progress to being an entrepreneur up until the moment when I actually came back. The first time I did this, I came back to that same habit tracker after I had, smoked or ate junk food, wherever it was. And I saw that box that I really wanted to tick because I didn't want to hold, the truth to my failure. And I didn't tick it. And there's a pain associated with that. But that pain truly leads to growth. Because once you start to fill out this habit tracker in truth and honesty, and you see the days that you've missed, you start to realize oh shit, it plays more on your mind and you start to actually work harder on it. Another thing that you might do, let's say you start the habit tracker or the goal and you end up messing up a bit and you almost destroy the thought of that goal in itself. So for example, a fat guy could start the diet, mess up on the first day and kind of delude himself to thinking he wasn't even on a diet for the next few days. Or you could start the habit tracker or the goal, not do the work that you were supposed to do, and then just abandon the habit tracker and just not look at it again just because it's like, oh yeah, I'll go make a new one soon. If you've done stuff like that, trust me, I have too. The way to overcome this and hold yourself accountable, to force yourself to just fill out in truth the system that you're using to hold yourself accountable. You can have an accountability partner, you can have a habit tracker. If you're completely by yourself and you need something like free and easy to use, a habit tracker is awesome. And for this actionable step, I've actually made one for you. Like I've made a template that you can literally just click and download totally for free. You don't even give me your email for this. I'll link it below. And it's on Notion, so just click on the duplicate button in the top right, and then there's like a gray button that you can add more habits to. So I made that just for this video, just so like it's easy for you to make your own habit tracker. The book Atomic Habits by James Clear does talk about establishing clear habits and making small progressive improvements. So this is exactly what I do to use the advice from the book Atomic Habits with your habit tracker. Be totally honest. Don't check off the boxes that you didn't do. Like, don't lie to yourself when you miss the day or something. And just see the entire month start to fill out. And when a few weeks have went by or an entire month, look to yourself and really just kind of calculate, okay, you know, I missed 17 days of meditation this month. You know what would be an awesome goal for next month? To miss 14 days. Who's ever spoke to you in that way before? Because most guys, they hold themselves to too high of a standard in a certain way. For example, you wouldn't go into the gym and just try and lift 2 plates like bench press on your first day at the gym, right? You'd level it up. But when it comes to self-improvement habits, a lot of people don't follow the same mindset. They think to themselves that they're not gonna, like they're on NoFap every day of the month for every month for the rest of their lives. NoFap's like a really popular one where people have a stupid mindset. People genuinely like get onto NoFap and they just assume that, like, if you imagine NoFap as a habit tracker, they assume that every single day is going to be checked off, but that's totally unreasonable because that's like coming into the gym and deadlifting 3 plates to begin with. You can't do that. You've got to start off leveling it up, right? So on the, let's say you had a habit tracker for NoFap, for example, or reading or deep work for your business. The first month could literally just be like your goal could just be checking it off for 5 days for the month, which I know sounds quite small. But if you increase that by 5 each month, before the end of the year, you'd have a full, complete month of absolutely 0 days lost, and you've progressively overloaded to it. The guy who sets the goal to just check it off every single day never makes like good progress until he changes his mindset. He just constantly gets to like day 2, day 3, messes up, and then to him it's like that's actually really bad because he couldn't mess up. He couldn't miss an entire day this month for his goal. If you told yourself that you could miss 25 days this month but still hit your goal as a beginner, and you end up, for example, checking off 10 days because, you know, that's still relatively reasonable. Suddenly you just doubled your goal. You feel awesome, right? Because your goal was like to check off 5 days. You've checked off 10. You feel awesome. So not only do you need to hold yourself accountable, but you also just need to have somewhat realistic beginnings. This is not me, you know, trying to tell you to slow down in the race or anything. This is, for example, if me and you were racing in that analogy I used before, this is me seeing you sprint, but kind of like smash your heels on the floor with poor form. And I can tell that you're going to like run out of energy very soon. So this is me telling you, bro, we're going to sprint soon, but just pace yourself for now and fix your running form as well, because we've still got a large amount of running to do. Pace yourself for a little bit first. Let's like improve your form and stuff. Let's teach you some things. And then there's going to be a good time to sprint, and I will do that alongside you. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah!